Hi, my name's Brad Cotton from Cotton Innovations Limited, and we help companies look at their strategies, look at how to deploy things, how to make things better, more efficient, more effective for their organisation, and in doing so how to save money and also how to optimise what their business can do. What we're looking at here today is looking at the fourth in a series of steps of how to create a strategy for your business. Quite often when we talk about strategy, it's all about how do we get to the end game? How do we develop a new way of doing things? Strategy is not that easy to develop. It's actually a 5-step process. The first thing we need to understand is our aim. The next one is our strategy, which we've talked in the previous videos. We're now going to talk about our objectives, how we set those objectives, and then the measurables. And then the last one is how do we deploy it, the 5th step. So for today, we're looking at how do we deploy our objectives or define our objectives. So as we've discussed so far in our strategy, we have 3 strategies, and that's it. We have strategies to do with people, we have strategies to do with systems and IT, and we have strategies to do with processes, how we're going to use those processes to help us step change our way forward. Now, within each one of these strategies, which is a high-level statement, we have a series of tasks that we're going to put against people, tasks against systems, and tasks against processes. For each one of those tasks, we need to have a date. So are we going to train people? Who? Who are we going to train? What are we going to train them in? That would be our task, and that's the action that we need to do. For our IT system, are we replacing, renewing, updating? What are we doing? That's the task, and what we now need is the action. What are we going to do about it? How are we going to do that? Likewise, for the processes, we're going to look at our processes. Do they need to be kept? Do they need to be updated? Are they inefficient? Are there better ways of working? Does the paperwork system work? Does the paperwork not system work? Those are the lists of tasks that are going to sit against our process. Once we have that in place, we can then turn those into actions. So our objectives are multiple sets of information about each of the 3 strategies and how we're going to deploy that. Now, once I have all of that in place, what I'm then able to do is compile that piece of information into what's called the Balanced Scorecard. The Balanced Scorecard is a very powerful tool because it allows us, as the organisers of a process, to see the big picture. These are all the things that we said we would do. These are the activities we're going to take on. How are we balancing that resource across the deployment period of a year, 2 years, 5 years to enable that change to happen? So it's very important, once I've created this list of objectives, that I convert that into what I call my Balanced Scorecard. We'll look at Balanced Scorecard as a separate piece of information so that we can understand how to go forward on that. But for me to understand my next part of my strategy, having got my aim, having got my strategy in place, I can now start thinking about my objectives, the tasks that we have to do, and what do those tasks mean. Now, some of those tasks can happen immediately, some of them have to be postponed because of CapEx, capital expenditure we need to put down, because of resource, we have to train people, or we have to hire people, we have to get that information. But we can now start pulling all of this together to give ourselves a focus. So setting our strategy is a great thing to do, but we need to do it in a very constructive way. I'm Brad Cotton from Cotton Innovations Limited. It's been great talking to you about this. If you'd like more information, please contact us. We'd love to help build your organisation up to be able to do these things. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.